So, what are your thoughts when you hear somebody talk about church growth and growing a church? I know there's a lot of pastors out there that have very different opinions when it comes to church growth, growing a church, attracting new members. But in this video, what I want to talk about is what I personally believe is the worst way and the worst mindset to have when it comes to church growth. And so before we begin, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification. That way you don't miss out on any future videos that I release on church growth tips for pastors. Hey, my name is Greene. Like I said, I'm in Colombia. It's always so noisy here. So I had to take a little walk because some guy started playing music right when I was trying to record. Every time I'm trying to do a video, it's like, nobody asked you to come out here, bro. Can you let me record my video, man? Come on, bro. Anyways, though, what I do here on this channel, if you're new, is I use the knowledge that I gained from building a multiple six-figure business to help pastors turn struggling churches into healthy, growing churches. And so with that being said, what I did the other day is I did a post in let me come down here a little bit. I did a post in a Facebook group kind of about church growth and giving some tips. And it's always interesting the different perspectives that I get when I do a post on church growth from pastors, from general people. You'll get, the typical response, which is only God can grow the church, or numbers don't matter, or all you have to do is pray, or all you have to do is preach the gospel. And that's one of the most common responses that I get. But it was one pastor, his response, that really blew my mind. And it kind of even shifted my perspective. And so that's what I want to share with you guys today in this video, because I think it's really going to impact the way that you think about church growth moving on. So when I say it's noisy, this is what I'm talking about. It's like all day, just people yelling in the streets, selling stuff on the streets. Like, it's always so noisy, and I can never get anything done because people are always making noise. All right, I think I found a spot right here that could be quiet, at least for a little bit, hopefully. All right, so basically in Matthew 25, verse 14, Jesus talks about a man. He gives a parable of a man that's going away, and he entrusts some talents into his servants. And so I did a little bit of research because I'm not sure how many people are familiar with what talents are. I know I wasn't. Sometimes we say it, but to give it a little bit more context, a talent was a unit of measurement, right? And so you could measure currency with a talent, and when you did, it was about 6,000 denarii, which was like their currency at the time. And so average salary was 1 denarii per day. And so one talent was worth like 20 years of work. And so this guy that's leaving, he entrusts 5 denarii in one servant. He entrusts 2 denarii in the other. And there's a third that he entrusts 1 denarii. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So you have one that has 5, one that has 2, one that has just 1, right? The one that has 5 goes, trades it, invests, and turns that 5 into 5 more. So now he has 10. The one that got 2 did the same thing, right? Found a way to double it up and went from 2 to have 4. Now, the one that only got 1 was scared to lose it, and was scared that he would gamble it away, and was scared of what his master might say when he returned. And so he just took the 1 denarii that he had, dug a hole in the ground, buried it, and just covered it up. So eventually that master comes back, right? And he looks at the one that had 5, asks him, like, what did you do with the money? Basically, he's like, hey, I turned the 5 into 10. He said, hey, good job, you great and faithful servant. I have entrusted you with little, like, I will give you more, right? The same thing with the one that had 2. He's like, hey, I turned it into 4. He says, man, good job, great and faithful servant. Now he comes to the servant that had only been given 1. He's like, what did you do? And he's like, well, I knew you are a harsh, owner, basically. And he was like, so I was scared to lose the money, and so I just dug a hole, and I didn't want to waste it. And he basically says, like, you're worthless. Like, why would you could at least give it to the banks. That way I could at least get interest. Now I have nothing. And not only that, he tells him, like, cast this worthless servant into the darkness. Like, he's so upset with this guy for not producing anything with what he gave him that is like, just cast him into the darkness. He's useless. The point of the pastor sharing that and the way that he wrapped that up was this, right? God is not going to do the work for us. Just like that master, right? He entrusted them with the talents, but he wasn't the one that grew them. That was up to them. And each one did with the talents that they were entrusted with based on their perspective on the master, right? So the one that had 5 and the one that had 2 were like, my master will be pleased if I am fruitful, right? He wants me to produce more with what he already gave me. The one that only had one was like, he just wants me to be faithful. He wants me to take care of what I already have, and that's it, right? And that's the issue, or that's what's wrong with some of our thinking when it comes to church growth, right? We get so caught up in trying to be faithful that we forget to be fruitful. And so why just have the 10 members that God already gave you and just be so faithful, like, oh, I don't want to spend any money, or I don't want to do anything that'll mess this up. And you're essentially just digging a hole, putting them in it, and that's it. And then the master comes back and he's like, you worthless servant, right? You didn't do anything with what I gave you. And so why only have those 10 members, 20 members for forever, rather than multiplying what God has given you and being fruitful? And it all comes down to the perspective of who we have of Jesus and who we have of God, right? He's not just calling us to be faithful and that's it. The main thing he wants us to do is to be fruitful. And that's the reason why Jesus shared this parable, to show the importance, right? It wasn't like the one that was only given one lost it or gambled it away. He just did nothing with it to grow it. So the same thing when I hear pastors say, like, it's not all about numbers, it's not all about gaining more members. Yeah, it's not about having the biggest church building and just getting numbers for the sake of numbers, but we're called to be fruitful. And if you're not being fruitful with your ministry, when God and Jesus come back, they might just look at us and say, you worthless servant, cast them into the darkness. And I don't want that, and I don't think you want that. And that's why I am recording this video through all the noise, through all the rain now, so hopefully you can start to shift your mindset. So it is about the poor, I think, so I'll wrap this up. But basically, I'm doing this video, like I said, to help you change your perspective when it comes to church growth. I think, and what one of the pastors said, is to say that, you know, God just does everything and that we don't have any role in this is poor theology, and it's poor to teach that, right? We have to stop saying, like, the only way to grow a church is like God. Yes, we get that God is the master, right? But at the same time, just like the parable, like, we have to do our work. And sometimes that doesn't mean consulting him for everything, right? They couldn't consult their master. Do you want me to invest it here? Do you want me to trade it there? Instead, they had to base that off of their perspective of him on what they were to do, right? So based on who they believed he was, that influenced their decision. And that's why it's important for us, man, it's really about to start pouring, but that's why it's important for us to have the proper perspective of God. That way we understand he's not just calling us to be fruitful, or he's not just calling us to be faithful, he's calling us to be fruitful. So I hope that this video was valuable. If it was, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts on church growth and how you view it. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. But let's have a healthy conversation. I think right now there's a lot of information that's not helping churches, and we have to realize we're all on the same page. The goal is not to be right, the goal is not to be correct, the goal is not to make other people see it how you see it. The goal is to grow the body of Christ and to do what will make God and Jesus proud. That is our goal, to be fruitful, to help people. And so I think we're all on the same page. We just have to make sure our perspective is right. So really hope this video helped you to see that and maybe look at it in a different way. And that parable will show you that, hey, it's just not all about being faithful and just saying, hey, I'm going to hold on to the little bit of members we have and a little bit of church money that we have and be so scared of losing that money or losing those members, but instead saying, I got to do what I have to do to be fruitful. And sometimes that's taking a risk. And so hope this video was helpful. If you're looking for a group of pastors that are like-minded, that you can, you know, iron sharpens iron, what I'll do is I'll leave a link below to my church Facebook group that I have, a free group that you can join to link up with other pastors. And then if you're looking for any help with your church growth to be fruitful, I'll leave a link below where you can book a 15-20 minute call with us, that way we can see where you're at now and get to know each other, see what we can do to help you. So it's about to rain, they're getting noisy, so what I'm gonna do is wrap this up. I hope this video helped you guys again, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh yeah, one more thing. Look, I don't know if you guys can see how hard it's raining out here. It's raining pretty hard, but I wanted to record this video to show you guys, hey, even when the devil tries to stop you, you keep going through the noise, through the rain, through the pain, through everything. So you're not gonna be perfect, you just gotta keep pushing. Make sure that you're focused not just on being perfect and faithful, but you're focused on being fruitful. Love you guys, see you on the next one.